I hate you. I should have never married you. You awful, hideous, stupid man. You have the IQ of a chicken.
Oh yeah? Well, you're the ugliest woman I ever dated. I only married you because you were pregnant with my child.
Well, fine, maybe we should just get a divorce then.
That's the best idea you've had since our wedding day.
These two nutcases are my parents. They've been arguing like this since the day I was born. And somehow, they stayed together for a pretty long time. And they even had 2 other kids. My little sisters, Andrea and Janie. But this time, it was final. They'd always threatened each other about divorcing in the past, but this time they were serious. My dad packed his bags and left that night. The papers were signed by the next week, and the week after that, our family split up forever. Before I continue my family drama, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell too. You're the best. The judge made a weird decision. I was going to live with my dad, but my younger sisters would stay with my mom. My dad decided he wanted to live as far away from my mom as possible, so we moved from Texas all the way to Michigan. I was fine with that because that's where I wanted to go to college, but I knew I'd miss my sisters and my mom dreadfully. On our first night in our new house in Michigan, my dad started behaving all weird.
Coral, I really hope you like it here, but there's something I need to tell you, and please don't get mad.
What is it?
Well,
Yes? You sorta what, Dad? Spit it out.
I have a girlfriend. Her name is Erin.
Okay.
She lives in this state. That's why we moved here.
What?
Yes, and she's moving in with us next week.
What?
Yes, she's really nice. You'll love her.
You mean you were cheating on Mom this whole time?
Yeah, but can you blame me? Your mom is horrible.
I rolled my eyes and went up to my room. The next day, my dad asked me if I wanted to go shopping, like he was trying to buy my forgiveness or something. The nerve. But I was okay with that. He said I could use his credit card to buy whatever I wanted. Before leaving, I took one last look at myself in the mirror and decided I needed a makeover. I'd always been the nerdy type. I wore huge glasses and the only clothes in my wardrobe were hoodies and sweatpants. But hey, I was in a new state now, so I was about to change my life. I was going to go to a new school next week, and I wanted to look hot. At the mall, I bought loads of trendy clothes. When I tried them on in the changing rooms, I almost couldn't recognize myself. Time to stop hiding all this goodness from the world, I thought. Then I went to a hair salon and I dyed my hair red. I also went to a makeup store and bought almost everything. By the time I got to my room and unpacked it all, I felt like a dragon hoarding treasure in a cave. I took a while, but I learned how to do my makeup, and it really helped that my dad's new girlfriend Erin was great at it too. She was much younger looking than my mom was. I was afraid to ask for her age, so I didn't. At least my dad was happy. Anyway, that's how I bonded with my new stepmom, through makeup. So you can probably guess how my first day at my new school went. Instead of feeling like the invisible nobody, a feeling I was used to from my last school, everyone wanted to be my friend. It was a bit sad to think that this was only happening because they thought I was pretty, but whatever. I was ready to settle into my new life of popularity. When I sat down in my first class, a bunch of people came to sit next to me and they started conversations like they'd known me for years. I never thought it'd be so easy to make friends. 3 girls who looked like they were probably the most popular in my class asked me if I'd join them at lunch later. I was so happy. Then it got even better because in the middle of my lunch with them, the hottest guy I'd ever seen joined us and started talking to me.
What's your name, new girl?
It's Coral.
What a beautiful name. Welcome to our school. Do you want to go out with me this weekend? I could take you to my favorite spot.
Sure, I said, while trying not to blush my face off. He left the table and the girls stared at me.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he asked you out and he just met you. I am so jealous, but I'm happy for you, girl. That's Chris. He's the richest guy at our school.
Really?
Yeah, and like 3 weeks ago, he broke up with his supermodel girlfriend, Gina. She doesn't go to our school, but he didn't seem pretty sad about it at all.
Oh.
And now he asked you out. If you start going to his house, please invite us over one day. We heard it's the size of a mega mall.
I thought this must be the best possible way for someone's first day of school to go. When I got home, I felt like I was in a dream. Did I already have friends? Did I already, almost, have a rich, hot boyfriend? The rest of the week was just as awesome. When I wasn't with my new friends, I was with Chris who wanted to hang out whenever we had a break from classes. Then on Saturday, I spent the whole day getting ready for our date at 6 o'clock. I wanted to make sure that I looked perfect. I even forgot to eat breakfast and lunch. At exactly 6, a huge expensive car pulled up in my driveway.
Wow, you look so pretty.
Aaron squealed as I walked down the stairs.
Looks like somebody hit the jackpot.
My dad laughed while opening the front door so I could leave. I ran outside and he came to open the car door for me like a perfect gentleman.
Hi, Carl.
He blushed. Hi, Chris. We drove around for a while and Chris told me stories about the hockey team, his friends, all the things he loved, and some other things I don't quite remember. He spoke about himself a lot, but I was just so mesmerized by his cuteness and the expensive car that I didn't really care. We went to a scenic spot on a mountain, then we went back to the town and he bought us dinner. Boy, was I starving. I didn't care about being polite. You know how some girls try to give guys the first impression that they eat like birds? Well, not me. I ordered everything I felt like eating, and he paid for it all. It was just perfect. I guess Chris was happy with this first date because he continued asking me out. He'd always plan something special and romantic, and almost every time I saw him, he'd give me flowers or chocolate. I couldn't believe my luck. So after about a month, we became an item. Yes, your girl Coral was in a relationship. Her first relationship too. And it was only after I felt like I was really in love that I started to notice a few things that weren't quite right. The first time he invited me to his huge house, he introduced me to his family, and they were all so nice to me. But then he left me sitting in the living room on my own. After about an hour, I texted him to ask where he was, and then I found out he was in his room playing video games. I sat next to him, then after a few more hours, it got darker outside.
Well, I think you should go home now.
Aren't you going to drive me home?
Can't you see I'm in the middle of something?
I couldn't believe it. I walked to the corner, then called my dad and asked him if he'd pick me up. I made up some lie about Chris's car having a problem.
But doesn't that rich boy's family have like 10 other cars?
Yeah, but everyone was busy, I guess. I was really upset. But the next day at school, he came and sat next to me and started talking like nothing had happened. And this was how it went all the time. He'd do something awful, then pretend it never happened. Sometimes he went days without saying anything to me, and when I asked him if he was upset, he'd say that I was overthinking or overreacting. Then he'd take me somewhere fancy to have dinner. So I tolerated it all, but things continued getting worse. One day, I was hurrying from science class to gym when I saw Chris and his friends staring at some girl.
She's hot. Yeah, much better than your girlfriend, Chris. I wonder if she'll go out with me. That's called cheating. It's only cheating if you don't get caught.
Chris! I screamed. His friends looked at me, laughed, and ran off.
What's up, babe?
I heard what you said.
We were just kidding, babe. You overthink too much, always overreacting about something stupid. Listen, I gotta go.
And he just walked off and left me standing there. The people around me started laughing and it was so humiliating. He didn't speak to me for about a week. He ignored all my texts and calls. Then one night he showed up at my house with flowers. He took me out to dinner, but that night I noticed something I hadn't noticed before because I was just blinded by how awesome I thought Chris was. A very nice waitress came up to us. She looked young and nervous like it was her first day on the job.
Welcome, y'all. How can I help you?
We just got here. Can't you give us a break?
I'm so sorry. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Get lost.
When Chris was finally ready to order, he nearly barked at the poor girl. Then he told her she was stupid and he wouldn't be leaving a tip. Before we left, I apologized to her so much, and I gave her my last $20 as a tip. As I walked out of the restaurant, I realized that this is how Chris treated many people. He was really an entitled rich boy who believed that everyone existed to serve him. Was it worth being in a relationship with someone like that? I began to have many doubts. What made my doubts worse was when my science teacher made me partner up with a guy called Brian. I'd always seen him around, but we'd never really spoken. He made so many corny science jokes that would have made an ordinary person cringe, but I found him so hilarious. At the end of class, we exchanged numbers and we texted all night. That was also one of the days Chris chose to ignore me, so I was happy that I had someone else to talk to now. I found out that Brian and I had many common interests. He wasn't rich like Chris, but he was definitely a better person. The next day, I was walking through the school hallway filled with my muddled thoughts about this all when Chris snuck up behind me, gave me a hug and a huge bouquet of flowers.
Did you remember that the school dance is tonight? We're still going together, right?
Yes, I said, lying. I completely forgot about that.
I'll pick you up at 7.
He said, then ran off to meet his friends. The other girls in the hallway looked at me with envy. I just wanted to shout at them, Like, yeah, I got flowers, but my boyfriend is still a jerk. At the dance that night, I looked stunning. Chris danced with me twice, then disappeared, so I was left standing all alone next to the punch when I got a text message from Brian. It said,
Hey Coral, I don't know how to say this to you, so maybe you should just listen for yourself. I'm waiting for you outside in case you want to leave the dance after hearing this.
Then he sent a voice note. At first it sounded like a bunch of guys arguing, then I heard Chris's voice clearly.
So, guys, I won the bet. I went out with Coral and I got her to become so dependent on me, she won't leave me even if I treat her like garbage. Now, all of you owe me $10. Pay up. I'm gonna break up with her tonight after the dance. Kinda tired of her right now, and I want to see other people, like that hot girl we were looking at the other day.
The other guys laughed, and that was the end of the voice note. So that's all I was? A bet? I was so furious that I couldn't think clearly, so I went up to the stage and grabbed the microphone. Listen up, everyone. I know that you have all seen me dating Chris for a while, and so many of you girls are jealous because you think he's the rich, perfect boyfriend. Well, I'm here tonight to announce to all of you that he's a jerk. He has no respect for anyone and thinks he's better than everyone else just because his parents have some money. Tonight I found out that he only became my boyfriend because of a bet he had with his friends. This is the problem in the world today. The rich and powerful think that they can treat anyone else however they please. This stops today. And by the way, Chris, you jerk if you're listening, I'm breaking up with you now before you have a chance to do it to me. There was applause and everyone looked at Chris like they were so disappointed in him. I walked outside and met Brian, who took me home while making lots more cringy jokes on the way. Now, not one girl at our school wants to date Chris, and he's lost all bragging rights and respect. Serves him right. I hope he learns how to be kinder to people.